It's really not a fertilizer, but it is a fertilizer. This is ground contact that makes a healthier plant. Jim Lambert, Whitney, Nebraska, cattle rancher, do a lot of haying and farming. We was in such a drought, and we wasn't getting any moisture, and I was scared that if you're putting on nitrogen and phos down, that we was going to burn that ground. Boone brought the idea of the Riser Green to us. Of course, I do all Boone's haying, do most of his haying for him. That's a big seller right there. I know what his ground's done different. So that's what led me to do it a year ago. I knew that I wouldn't burn my crops by putting this on. And so I did, like 200 acres or so last year, alfalfa millets, and did all my millet ground. We did part of our alfalfa and used it as a test plot with our alfalfa. Certainly an exceptional difference using it. And that was the only fertilizer we used. We didn't put anything else down, used strictly the Riser Green. So last year, especially on our alfalfa, we didn't put it on until our second cutting. I did roughly 50 acres just of alfalfa, and the rest I put on millet, but I did it on some upper ground, and I didn't spray the bottoms, the low ground, which would have been more irrigation. And our second cutting put up almost as much as our first cutting hay did a year ago. Where we're seeing the difference is this year on our first cutting, the ground that I sprayed a year ago versus the ground I didn't was about 3 bales to the acre difference, and that's a year out from when we sprayed. We was just saying that they're 1,500 pounds, about $300 an acre value that I got out of the product this year, and like I said, that's a year out from when I used it. I think it's helped our ground immensely, and that's where I noticed this year in the alfalfa ground is that first cutting. It has done something to the soil, so it has made our ground healthier to keep that product in the ground to make a better product this spring that we've used on our first cutting. I mean, it is a definite line, like I said, to the ground that got it and the ground that didn't a year ago. So I know there's something that's happened to the soil. I know there's something that stayed in the ground that made the ground healthier, made that plant healthier to produce more as it did this year. We certainly noticed the plant health was better. I can't say against my own stuff because I sprayed every bit of millet ground that I had. We had neighbors with millet close to us, right across the road actually, and there was a difference between the plant health, and there was also a difference in the amount of bales. I mean, ours put up more hay than his did. Different ground, different farming operations. So I can't really say on a proven test that way. Product is more than paid for itself, and we was talking this morning. I was talking with a neighbor this morning, a good friend of mine. I got him to put some on. He did some test strips this year, and I said I thought it worked extremely good last year. But my deal behind it is this new year from the date of what this ground has done. We're exceptionally wet this year. We've had an exceptional amount of moisture. But when you produce three bale acre more on what got sprayed a year ago versus the ground that didn't, that speaks a lot for the product. Makes you feel, as a steward of the land, it makes you feel really good. You're building the ground, you're making it healthy, just the same as you do for livestock or yourself. This is something we'll continue to do.